When you think of Afro, all right, you think of 5 of them, and you probably liked his better. His Afro, it went like. And if you think about it, he never really got rid of his Afro. He was just like, oh, word? The next transition is a Jerry curl? Let's go. And he went with that.
Michael Jackson's hairstylist was a black woman from Compton. He had that butter whipped by a sister. Don't even play, okay?
And the sisters were like, give me what Mike got. I want what Mike has. Give me that thing right there.
I had no idea that The Wiz as a movie was universally panned by critics. I could have sworn that was up there with Going with the Wind. For black people, The Wiz is up there with Going with the Wind and you know, Citizen Kane.
I looked at him and I said, what you know about grits? He's like, come on now, Bearden, you know where we're from. I said, but what do you know about grits? Oh, you testing me? I said, yes. I said, well, what do you put on them? He says, no, if you put this on them, it's not good. But so I put this on them. And Blink is looking at us like, what are you guys talking about? We're having a passionate, like, serious black man conversation about grits.
To the average person, oh, Mama Say, Mama Sa, Mama Kusa can just be a clever couplet to close a 6-minute dance song. But no, those are African chants. Sounds like someone's proud of me.
He never strayed away from the black community. I know a lot of people want to gravitate towards his appearance and try to psychoanalyze how he felt about himself and what he felt about himself and all that.
Him having a disease like vitiligo, for something like that to happen to our brightest star, on a bigger scale was a blessing to us, because what it showed us is that who we are as a people is bigger than the skin color.
To me, it was never about his appearance, it was all about his spirit, and his spirit never left us.
When you look in the mirror, are you happy with what you see?
In what way?
Just when you look there, in terms of that social philosophy.
I'm never totally satisfied. I always wish the world could be a better place. No, not at all. Hopefully, you know, that's what I do with my music, bring happiness to people and to bring joy. Every song is different. Sometimes it happens quickly, sometimes it happens slowly. No one can quite say what the creative process is, because I have nothing to do with it almost, because it's created in space. It's God's work, not mine.
I've known people that work with him, and laziness was not in his vocabulary. I've heard demos that sounded like the full-scale song. I've never heard a person make a full-scale demo of a song before they went to the studio to do it.
The fact that Billie Jean, that Michael's vocal was recorded in one take is pretty phenomenal. But I bet you that Michael wasn't the kind of person who wanted to go back and fix every word, which you could do. I think he wanted the integrity of the recording.
Rod Temperton speaks of Michael Jackson taking a day to memorize the lyrics of Rock With You and Off the Wall because he didn't want to have the paper in his hand while he was singing it. And he's like, no, I want to memorize it because that way it's more believable.
You know, I've heard stories about Michael being in the studio laying on his back to get a certain sound, laying down on the floor. On
the album version of I Just Can't Stop Loving You.
I was in a bed when I was doing that.
Really?
Also, yeah. I was laying in the bed, cover and everything.
Not many people know the story behind Bad.
It's like a way of saying you're cool, you're all right, you're tough. I'm not saying I'm like criminally bad.
Quincy Jones managed to get Michael Jackson and Prince in the room at the same time to have dinner. Michael presented the scenario, which was two guys sort of vying for the position, like whose talent is better, that type of thing. And he, of course, you know, Michael wrote the song.
It is quite different from anything I've ever recorded or I've ever written.
Prince read the first lyric, which was, of course, the immortal, "Your butt is mine." Prince says, who's singing this line? Because you ain't singing this to me, and I sure ain't going to sing this line to you. And dinner was over.
I love the fans. I think it's very sweet. I feel thankful is how I feel. I really do. I don't take any of it for granted.
He went online and asked what the fans wanted to hear in the show, and he showed me a list from 1 to whatever the number was of what they wanted, how many times they voted for it, and what came out #1, and who liked it, male or female. I had never seen this before in my life with anybody that I've ever worked for. And then he showed me his handwritten notes of what he thought would be in the show, comparing it to the list. This is how much he loved the fans and how much he cared about it. And he would agonize over this constantly. He says, I got this and I still don't have J5 or Off the Wall on here. What do I do? What do I do?
I was DJing opening for Prince in Las Vegas, a tour we did. In and of itself, I was just like, this is crazy. Like, Michael is at a Prince concert. Like, I'm already blown away that I get to watch and participate in this concert, but now Michael is here, you know? And he was coming from backstage, and he's surrounded by his security, and people start noticing him and falling out and losing it, crying. Anybody else, I believe, would have just kept walking. That's the point of being surrounded by security. He stopped and he shook every single person's hand.
We were doing a Rock With You, and I had to make a big major cut in it. So I did the cut, and I said, how's that, MJ? How's that feel? He said, yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. He says, it's gonna hurt the girls though. It's gonna hurt the girls.
He wrote a song for, it was either Katrina relief or one of the other tragedies that had happened, and he had a bunch of us come to do another We Are the World kind of situation. And this was my first one-on-one. So I find myself on that day, I know I'm going and he's gonna be there. I'm like, well, what am I gonna wear? What am I going to say? How am I going to act? What am I going to do? He's going to be right there. I got to make a good impression with him because, yeah, like it's a date. Like, I'm going to date Michael Jackson. I'm like, come on, man, you're a grown man. Get it together.